On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we finished a bunch of tile in the kitchen, but now it's time to finish the tile in the appliance pantry. And hopefully start putting appliances in here. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and today, like I said, we are in the new house. And I've been working away and trimming things out, but spending most of my time in the basement getting all of that ready because we're getting very close to sheetrocking the basement. I am excited for that because that's the true game changer where I can move all of my stuff into this house, because at this point, there's just not enough storage here to bring all my stuff over here. It's a little ridiculous how much space I need. Now, I forgot to mention something in the last video. There was another important sponsor, and that's because Harbor Freight just sent over. First of all, they sent me this fan, which is very cool. Eric brought his DeWalt one over here, and I was like, take your DeWalt one back. We are good to go. This thing actually works great and seems to run forever on a battery. I literally left it on for like 4 hours and it was still rocking. Then they sent this miter saw stand that I just finished assembling, and they sent the Hercules 12-inch compound miter saw. Now, there's been a few things in this project that we were having a hard time cutting with Eric's 10-inch DeWalt compound miter. I mean, the 10, obviously a great saw, and I know a lot of people are actually downsizing to like 8-inch miter saws, but I wanted the big power. Especially, there were a few sketchy things. I post them on Twitter, things you should not be cutting, like making cross woodcut rips with a chop saw. Super dangerous stuff, but I was doing them on this. And on the 12-inch, they won't be dangerous at all because it's going to support them better and have enough blade that I don't have to like flip the wood and cut it twice and risk, you know, disaster twice. So don't do those things with your saw, just use your table saw. But the table saw wasn't here and I had work to get done, so I went and got it done. Anyway, I asked Harbor Freight if we could get their chop saw because it's the biggest one, and that'll give us, we gotta get all this area cleared out of here as well. So we're gonna permanently set this up over in that bay and get Eric's saw back over to him so he can get back to work with that. Right now, first things first, we're gonna build this thing. We gotta get it all set up on the stand. It's gonna weigh a lot, which is the downside of a 12-inch saw, but also unlimited power. The upside of a 12-inch saw, you get a whole lot of energy moving around when those 12s spin up. And also, it's such a bigger blade that when we're cutting down like 5-inch base on miters and stuff like that, it's no big deal. So, let's get to it. Is a big saw, so I can't wait to get this bolted down onto the stand. It came with the bolts and everything like that, and I'm also excited to put this back away. This is a like 8-inch Black & Decker that my dad gave me. He was like, I don't want this. I think it was probably $5 at a garage sale or something like that, and it gets to go away. Even though every once in a while, she still gets caught getting used. I'm sure the blade on that saw is toast, and it loads up so hard because it's like direct drive, not belt drive like all these big saws, or gear drive, however they're getting their reduction down from the motor to the blade. It's really hard to use that, and you know, super dangerous because no guard. All right, we've got the Hercules 12-inch all set up here on its stand. Everything's tightened down. You do have to remove the feet from this thing. It's got rubber feet, you gotta take those out and then bolt this thing down to its clamp arms. But I've got what, a 60 tooth on there, right? 12-inch, maybe. Come on, let us see the, I think it's a 60 tooth. All right, let's see this thing cut. Also, first of all, this shirt runs easy, which is very nice. It does have a lock on the trigger, which I'm not sure I love. Is this a laser? Ooh, it's a light that gives you a shadow of the blade. Very cool, so if you mark, you're not gonna miss. We're gonna turn on the light just so we can see it. I grabbed a piece of scrap wood out of the trash, and let's see this thing cut. That looks nice. I think that was enough playing around with the new saw. Super excited to use this to start framing the basement. All right, guys, we're back in the basement. Eric and I might have done a little work last night, but before I show you that, I do want to show you this. Another wall is done. Ignore my terrible sheetrock gap. The ceiling actually isn't straight right there. You can see there's like a bow in it. So once we hung the rock, it pushed everything all out of whack and left me with that weird gap. But hey, it's 1/8 of an inch. It'll fill with mud. Let the sheetrock guys deal with that. If it was any bigger, I'd probably worry about it, but mud and tape, problem solved. A wall! Take a look at that. We have the Tech Throwback Studio / office wall framed up here. So we put a gigantic door in. There were some weird things that had to happen to make that corner come together, but it all came together, which means now it's time for me to get in here and start getting our electrical and our Ethernet in, because this is where basically everything ends up. All the tech and a little bit of power. We actually don't use that much power in the studio. At this point, we're basically just powering a bunch of LED lights and a computer or two. So I'm probably pulling like 600 watts on average, maybe 1,000 max when I'm shooting in there. And the main idea is just having a ton of outlets. In the other Tech Throwback Studio, if you guys, I guess I never really did a tour of it, but we just finished building that. It has an Ethernet drop on every single wall, so you're always within like 6-7 foot of an Ethernet drop. And it also has an outlet like every 3 feet. So I just wanted the outlets to basically be surge protectors. So we just stacked up a ton of them, and that lets me plug in USB chargers and LEDs all over the place, because the cameras need chargers and the lights need power, and whatever I'm working on at that moment in time also needs a little bit of power. So let's go cut a block at, I think, 12 inches. For some reason, all the outlets in this house are extremely low. I think they're all around 12 inches. I'm gonna cut myself a little block so we can set our heights quickly and then start shooting in all the outlets. I just realized I don't have any more nail-in boxes, so it's time for a Lowe's run, and then we can start putting this all together. Welcome back to the basement. Welcome back to the vlog, where a lot of things have changed in the last 2 days. You can see the entire basement is wired. There's sheetrock up on my new office in the Tech Throwback Studio. Only a little bit of sheetrock. There's plenty more to do. The reason it's not all done is because everything has to be insulated, and we also ran out of Ethernet cable. There's more on the way. It'll be here tomorrow. So I know I didn't start with full boxes, but I had 3,000 foot rolls left, and that's all already pulled into this house. So I needed one more 1,000 and what's left of the box that's currently being pulled in to get this place done, because these rooms get all the Ethernet runs, really. So the office lights have also been ran. We need to install those. And we also added some additional bonus water lines, some just in case water lines, because this drain always existed in the house. And I thought, you know what, at some point, maybe somebody will want to put in a wet bar, and once I put the ceiling in, it's gonna be really hard to go do exactly that. So we put these water lines in, they're gonna get capped off and then hidden inside the wall, and I'll just leave myself a note that the water lines do exist. We've fixed everything down here, guys. We fixed it all. This basement, I am so excited, I can't even tell you. This, it turns out, was a powered outlet that they had just covered up, and they put a plate over it. Well, we threw their blanking plate away, at least I'll make that true for you guys. Threw that away, and now there's an outlet back up there in case we put a TV up there. I get it, the internet mafia hates TVs on fireplaces, but like, what if we put a TV over there? I don't know, this fireplace mantle is too high, so my real plan is to put the TV back in this corner. Directly behind me, we put Ethernet over there. That's one that we're still waiting on the drop for. I think the TV will actually go over here or over there, with everything hidden off to the side, and the couch kind of over in this zone. So this will be the downstairs living room, which I'm very excited about. Obviously, we're basically at the button up the entire basement point. It's down to like take a bunch of sheetrock and start shooting it up. So very, very exciting. And check this out. Another thing I stole from a custom house that I absolutely love. They had these stairway lights, which are beautiful. They're like chamfered and they fade, and it's all like cast metal. And it's the perfect light projection for the stairs. And you can see what we did. My favorite part of this is, for some reason, there was like 1 or 2 people that just keep commenting, "Stop cutting holes in your house." And I'm like, I have a hole saw, so I'm gonna cut some more holes. I can't stop cutting holes. We're going to really step the game up with these stair lights because first of all, I already love how nice they look. But what we're gonna do is put a motion sensor, a battery powered Zigbee sensor directly above my head. So when you walk through the hallway, these stair lights will always be on at like 5% dim. And when you walk by, they'll dim up. And then after you walk away or there's no motion for a while, they'll just dim back down. So it's going to be really, really cool having all of that set up. It's really bright with these lights on. You know, we thought maybe there wouldn't be enough light and we needed a chandelier here. I don't know. I'm kind of liking the way it's looking now. Quick living room update. I bought a Race 6M from a friend the other day. I got a Fanatec direct drive on there. Brought the Xbox over, which doesn't work with that wheel, hilariously. The records came over and the coffee table showed up, couch came over. So those are the updates to the living room. It's really starting to come together. Just waiting on the record player. I haven't decided what record player. You know, I'm a big Technics SL1200 Mark V. That was my last set of turntables. I had two of those obviously because I was DJing with OG Serato on those. The reality is I'll probably just cheap out and buy one of the mid-tier automatic Audio-Technicas and just be happy. So those are the updates. Even though there's probably more updates I can't even think of, a lot has been done. New Smurf tubing went in this box right here so we could get the Ethernet in and out of the office and over to the rack easier. We've got some big updates coming to the rack soon. So what we have to do today is put a bunch of lights in these holes. So let's get busy because it would be nice to be able to see down here without battery powered lights. But the battery powered lights are doing their thing. I really think this is the best value in the world. I think it's $30 for this Hercules light. The run times are insane and the lens, the angle, the amount of light, it's all perfect. Look at that giant aluminum heatsink inside there. This thing, I don't know, it probably has 100 hours on it in this basement so far. I guess we're gonna start in here. Let's jump straight into the time lapse and put as many of these lights in as we can, which is probably all, however many I put in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Put 8 in here, 6 in the other room, and we're just gonna get everything we can done. We also have some hallway lights going in. They're all squares. Unfortunately, the squares I was using got discontinued. So now we have these China lights here. I will give the China lights credit. They're dimmable and they have 5 color temperatures instead of 3 like the Lithonias, but I think it's probably a much, much worse light. The cardboard boxes should not be that flimsy. It's always funny, I always see you guys in my comments saying you can tell how Chinese it is by the box. And I learned that you're right. You can actually tell how Chinese it is by the box. Well, I don't hate them. I don't love them. I don't think they're as good as the Lithonias in any way. Oh, you have to cut these out as a square? Are you kidding me? I hate them. I cut 4.5 inch holes, 4.25 inch holes. Well, technically I can install these. I can make it work, but I do not like it. This is only 10 times the work I was expecting to do today. Well, I had to start in the office instead of the living room because that flashing Milwaukee light just drove me nuts. So I didn't want to ruin the time lapse where we get to start in there, but it did take quite a bit of time to square up all these holes with the template and then get all the ballast of the drivers wired there. I test fit one of them to make sure the template and everything did work out. It works out really well. They look pretty good. I don't think they look as good as the Leviton, but these are almost completely flush to the ceiling, which is kind of cool. And then let's check out their dimming. Dimmer? Ooh, wow, that is a faint glow down here around 5%. They dim up really fast. The ramp up is quick. And then of course, let the control force switch. Yeah. All right, there you go. One room, ready to rock. I just have to patch in the sheetrock, insulate sheetrock real quick, and then we can have the ceiling textured, knocked down, and we'll be ready to rock. Now, let's start on the next room. I don't have enough lights to actually finish this. It looks like I've got about 6 left from this box. Got another box on the way. And let's just get the first 6 of these going. And just like that, 6 more lights installed in here, right in time for the Harbor Freight big work light to start flashing to tell me it's dying just a moment ago. So that thing rocked this whole night out. I mean, and all of yesterday too. I haven't changed the battery in a while. And now for the first time, we are gonna turn on these lights. We've got another control 4 switch on here that's already programmed and rocking. Here we go. Ah, it's so nice in here. All right, so we can shut this thing off. We don't need it anymore as we work in the basement because it's got real lighting. So there you have it, another big project knocked out. Little stuff to finish up. I know it's big stuff, but at the same time, once you get all the infrastructure and the thing framed in, the sheetrock and the insulation actually goes pretty fast. So tomorrow, hopefully I'm buttoning up all the rest of this, and then I can call Dave and have him get back to work on the sheetrock, and I can take a breather. Then we have to figure out what to do with this fireplace too. I just haven't decided. Everybody that came over here wants this to be whitewashed. I haven't heard one person say leave these bricks alone. So I think what I'm gonna do is finish sanding all of the wood to have this rustic look, seal it off so it stays looking like that, and then maybe we'll change the brick color. We will definitely be getting this brass fireplace out of here because those don't really look good in any setting at this point. So that is it for today, guys. Don't forget to head on over to shop.WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts, not like this. Click on one of these videos right here. YouTube thinks you want to watch that next. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. I hate these little less now, all right? I finished installing them all. I don't like that the junction boxes are even smaller than the Lithonias. The Lithonias are nicer, but the metal is worse. The metal in the cheap ones is better than the Lithonia metal here. The Lithonia Light is much nicer and the junction box is much bigger. But at the end of the day, I think I'm gonna stick with the new style ones down here, and the last handful of these I have are used to finish the upstairs. And spares. If those things burn out, I'm in trouble because, like I said, the Lithonia discontinued my lights mid-project. So I'm not getting any more of those ones.